Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders and talking about injuries randomly happening. Davante Adams is out this week after suffering a hamstring injury. The timing's a little weird for me, Ty. I'm not going to lie to you, man. The timing after Antonio Pierce's comments came out after getting blown out last week by the Panthers. Oh, we got some guys, we see you and we're going to make some business decision ourselves. Like the timing of this thing with a Davante Adams is very interesting to me, Tyler, because, the hammies just to kind of flare up out of nowhere seems a little coincidental, right?
No, I agree. I think he had a limited practice yesterday. I want to say he had a limited practice with the hamstring, and now he's out. I'm not buying it. Like, and the reason I don't know what the exact numbers are because I don't know what the cap hit. I didn't really take a look at it. But it just feels like this is a trade. I don't want to say a trade's pending or anything like that, but it's like one of those things you see it in the NBA a lot where guys they'll sit guys out with injuries or whatever because they're potentially going to be moved. They don't want them to get hurt. I feel like this could be a thing. Like Davante Adams doesn't want to be like this is the part of the career for Davante Adams where he's probably just looking to try to win. This team is not good. This is not a good football team. So for me personally, like with him being out, I think it's just really interesting. I think the timing, like you said, is really fishy. It smells weird here. And I think that it's something that's bigger here. Now, where I would be concerned, though, is like, what if this happens for multiple weeks now? And it's kind of like Davante Adams isn't really happy with what's going on. I think that there's a lot of pieces here. And it's just something for me. It doesn't smell right. I don't like this.
Something is up here. And it's concerning not just for this week, but like moving forward. I mean, I think at best we don't see Davante Adams for another week and a half. They play Denver next week too. So a matchup against Patrick Surtain is probably not on the agenda for him next week. But we knew his frustration last year. And we see the losing happening again for the Raiders. The losing kind of energy is there, especially when you get Antonio Pierce coming out. It feels like he's almost lost the locker room. And to have two coaches back-to-back years probably get fired or canned at some point does not bode well for a receiver who's one of the best, if not the best in the game in his prime still. I think this is the tail end of Davante Adams' prime. And it's not like, he can't go out there and perform. We know he can still he had 9 catches in week 2. So it's not like he's washed or that he's a bad player. It's just a terrible situation. And imagine what he has to go through knowing that they went through this offseason thinking like, yo, we're going to get you a quarterback upgrade. We are going to go get Gardner Minshew to Mustang. Like, we going to go get you a guy.
Yeah.
And they're talking about benching him now for Aiden O'Connell, the guy who we finished with the season last year. And it's like, what does he have to play for right now? His guy, the reason he came to Vegas is gone. Derek Carr is out of there. To me, I have a lot of concerns about Davante Adams in Las Vegas. Now he gets moved. That's a whole different story.
So some people are saying the Jets. I think that would be it'd be nice.
It'd be nice. But I feel like it'd be like kind of the same thing, like two of the same player. Like Davante and Garrett, they're kind of like, they're both dominant receivers.
And once again,
if they
I don't know
what Jet.
I don't know. I think that'd be tough. Like honestly, I think it'd be. I don't know. I don't know who'd be the one. I think that you'll just have like a mix. One week it's one guy, next week it's another guy. But like this is all speculation. I don't know what the numbers. The numbers got to match up. I don't know exactly what his cap hit is, what kind of money would stay with the team, would go with the team. So it's a lot of speculation. But it's something that if I had Davante Adams right now, you can't. I don't think you can really move him.
You gotta hope for better days.
Yeah, you gotta hope that like this situation just works itself out soon.
You got to hope for that. But if you have other players from this Raiders team, I think it's kind of intriguing time right now, especially if he's out. It's a hamstring. So if he's out for a week or two, he's an older player. We're probably going to see 2 weeks without Davante Adams. Now, Jakobi Meyers is now an intriguing play. He's been a flex-worthy type play most weeks. And I think he will be firmly on the wide receiver 3 radar heading into this week. Trey Tucker is also another name here that could have a little bit of extra value. We saw him kind of have a breakout, game this last week. And I think, Gardner Minshew trusts him in this offense, and the team likes him. He was force-fed down the stretch even last season. So if you have Trey Tucker out in your leagues right now, I think this is a good speculative add in your deeper leagues, your 12-team with like 3 receivers and a flex, especially with bye weeks coming up. And Jakobi Meyers, in my opinion, Tyler, I don't know if you're there, he's going to be a weekly wide receiver 2 or 3.
Yeah, the thing with Jakobi Meyers is like even last year there was moments that in the beginning of the year, I want to say he started off pretty well. I don't know how he finished. But he's just been this wide receiver that has commanded targets at a decently high rate. Last week he had 9 targets, both in him, Trey Tucker as well. And that's why it's like the business decision things were made. Like both those guys led the team. So but it's nice to see with Trey Tucker. I don't know if like this is going to become a continuous thing with him, but yeah, these are 2 guys that with how like the situation's kind of playing out. I mean, Jakobi Meyers probably rostered in a lot of leagues. I'd imagine it's got to be a high roster, but Trey Tucker is somebody who, if you're looking for why, like say you had Chris Olave, now he's kind of possibly going to miss this week, and you had Cooper Kupp or somebody else like that, so you're kind of hurting at the wide receiver position. He's somebody that I would just add at the end of my bench and kind of just see what this week plays out, and if he sees a lot of targets again, has another good week, hey, maybe you could ride with him here for a while.
He's thought as more of a deep threat that Trey Tucker is, and obviously this is a guy that probably will be inconsistent as a flex option, but he does offer a little bit of upside if he's the number 2 receiver. I think the biggest plus here is that we saw Brock Bowers immediately come in, step in, and be valuable. He will continue to be valuable. So think of Brock Bowers, at least for the time being, while Davante Adams is out, as a top 3 to 5 tight end, almost at floor right now. You could probably slot him a little bit higher than that, just given the nature of the injuries at the tight end position.